Travis Wayne Goodsell. Back from my errands. A little worn out. Smith's had orange juice on sale, so had to make a second trip for the orange juice, because they force you to buy 5 in order to get the $50 off. So got my weightlifting in for the day. Not exercise. Weights are anaerobic exercise. Alright, so during the driving time, I was able to think of some stuff, and respect was the latest topic. I have another one here, but people want respect, and I noticed that once I left home, that respect disappeared. With being at home, going to school, the teachers respected you, and everything was fine. Parents didn't respect me, but I was used to their disrespect, and so I dished out disrespect back. But that's why my parents gave disrespect, is that cycle. As they think that I'm still unworthy and incapable and lacking common sense, they demonstrate disrespect. And so I then demonstrate disrespect back. And then they get offended because they're my parents. I'm supposed to respect them regardless. No. That's what people don't get. But people who serve in the military, who fight, even if they are following bad orders, corrupt orders, they should resign if they're following bad orders, fighting a war that shouldn't be fought, where America is not being threatened. We're just going over there to be a bully. But those who do serve, whether it's firefighters or police officers, or positions in the church or in government, everybody wants respect for what they do, the position they hold, their age, and those who aren't deserving of it get upset with those who don't show respect because they're not giving it. So Gary Herbert, Governor Herbert of Utah, Mormon Boy, the state refuses to get the will of the people and proceed to work on a development project which is going to cause an environmental disaster. And because the government refused to get the will of the people, because they know the will of the people would say hell no, they then go through with it, and protesters emerge saying, "What are you doing?" But then that protest is a show of disrespect for the leadership of the government. And they get upset, and they get offended. And Gary Herbert gets up at the podium and tells the press that the protesters are domestic terrorists. And so the church leaders, they claim they speak for God. the words of Jesus Christ spoken through their mouth, because Jesus Christ visits his prophet in the Holy of Holies in the Salt Lake Temple, behind that little tree that's in front of the door in the celestial room, that middle room. And so Mormons believe that, he is automatically deserving of respect, as all Mormons rise in his presence when he enters the conference center or when he enters anybody's presence. And the apostles will not walk in front of him. They will all walk behind him. But then when you have a president who takes away the high priesthood, the high priest office, which is essential for exaltation, when you have him declaring that he's working with Russia against America, when you have him taking away visiting home teaching and replacing it with if they are in desperate need of an emergency, then we'll go see them. When you have a president who establishes a youth battalion to take away the authority of parents to raise their kids in righteousness. When you have a president who changes the temple text, thinking that he's appeasing the women by allowing them to wear slacks, by allowing the Eve to have a larger speaking role, but then changing the law of chastity to prepare for polygamy, where women get placed in bondage. Because again, section 132 says polygamy is essential for exaltation, along with the high priest office. I wonder what they're planning. And a president of the church who secretly is funneling money into criminal organizations through investments. Deutsche Bank, the international hub for money laundering from criminal organizations and corrupt governments and corrupt corporations. And a president who abandons the Boy Scouts, leaving them without the money from the church to handle the lawsuits of 8,000 Mormon boys who got raped as Boy Scouts by their Boy Scout Mormon leaders, so that the Boy Scouts declare bankruptcy. Shall I go on? We got conference coming up. I wonder how much more he'll add. And so again, Mormons, the 100 billion, can't forget that. And the lawsuits where he's retaliating. But again, why are they retaliating? Why are they upset with critics? Why do they want people to stay away from the news and focus on the pyramid scheme recruitment and forcing Mormons to pay tithing in order to go through the rituals of the temple? But hey, they speak for Jesus, don't they? Because that's exactly what Jesus would do. All that I described is exactly what Jesus would do. And protect LDS children. Those Antichrist protesters. How dare they step in to tell the bishop what to interview children for? How dare they? The prophet and the bishop speaks for God. Again, what does it take, Mormons? You want respect as Mormons. You want people to respect the church leaders. But they're not deserving of it. You are not deserving of it. You put thumbs down on my videos when I declare the crimes committed by the church. Crimes. I don't make fun of the doctrine, unless you're wrong about it, such as I did for Correcting Mormonism playlist. All of the videos where I correct Mormonism, I stick it in that playlist. I believe the first one was on faith. Mormons have incorrect faith that they are pursuing. You have mistranslated Moroni chapter 10, verses 3 through 5. How dare you show disrespect, Travis? Thumbs down! Again, Mormons, Alma 32, starting in verse 28. Oh, that's right. I was born and raised Mormon. Going on 50 years. I know everything. I know when you're wrong, because I know what's right. I know the truth about church history now. I know when the church is lying. I've been doing the Harmony, Pennsylvania. It's a scam. Did you know that? I haven't checked to see how many people are daring to listen to my research for those 2 hours. I think it's 2 hours and 30 minutes with my introduction added. But that's why I sued the church, is because of their crimes towards me was more than I could stand, and I took them to court. They had me disappeared from society. Gangsters, mobsters, mafia, crime organizations do that kind of crap. But they did it to me. I'm not supposed to be here. I was supposed to be disappeared for life. But they made a mistake, because new people came in who didn't understand and know that I wasn't supposed to get out. So I got out. And I got out the very year that the signs in the Bible for the second coming began to be fulfilled. What do you know? So is there a God? Sure seems like it, but he's just not making himself manifest. But there's a lot of weird stuff going on. But if there is a God, he's in direct contradiction to the Mormon Church. Because what the Mormon Church is doing is Luciferian Doctrine. What is Luciferian Doctrine, Mormons? Take away agency, force compliance, and have control over people's lives, telling them what to do with commandments and tons of laws, controlling every aspect of their lives, rather than just saying, hey guys, love everybody. You want to go to the temple? Here it is. It's free. If you donate to us, we can take care of the poor and lift them out of poverty. So, yeah, I am suing the church, and the church is retaliating. Even the federal judges who are siding with the church. So I've got an uphill battle to climb. And that's why I started the GoFundMe for the first time in my life. I've never begged for myself. On my website, I did ask for helping the poor, and I did raise $100 and bought solar-powered flashlights with that money. because I knew solar-powered flashlights could be a long-lasting item that they wouldn't have to pay batteries for. So it's something that they would need, but it's something that doesn't require them to pay for. And that's my charity plan, is to do that type of situation for people. Provide with what they need, but make it so that they don't have to keep paying money. There are some things that people have to keep paying money for, but as a charity, I can then set up a system for those things that people have to have on a regular basis, and not have to rely on donations, because the request for relief would cover that. And so, yeah, I've got the GoFundMe because of the corruption of the federal government protecting the church. If you want to help, great. But I'm not forcing you to pay donations in order to go through the temple rituals. So I'm doing donations the way it's supposed to be done. And I shouldn't have to do it if everybody were doing their job. The federal government was supposed to do it for free because I qualified for Informa Pauperis. So, again, you got to earn respect. Michael Jordan the other day at Kobe Bryant's remembrance. He earned respect. And it was just because of his talents as a basketball player. But when he played the Jazz during that championship game, that championship series, and you all know the one I'm talking about, Mormons, I cried because of the greatness of his skill. He followed the pattern of Alma chapter 32, starting in verse 28, and earned my respect. If I were to see him, I would rise in his presence and call him Mr. Jordan, because he earned my respect. So if the church leaders want respect, they need to start earning it. And they're a long way down. They have a long way to go to get up to that fruit from the seed. They can't even demonstrate that they've even got the titles that they claim they have, as I've demonstrated those in videos. That I have those keys because I've got the fruit. They don't even have the fruit. And yet they claim to have the keys. And that's why I was disappeared, because I had the keys. They recognized I had the keys, and they needed to silence me. And if you understood my projected religion, it's going to the family unit. There's no need for a leader per se, after you just supply the families with scriptures from the Egyptian documents and give them the ritual practice for the temple, which we need to cut out a whole bunch of crap from it. Brigham Young strayed so far from the original Egyptian endowment. Because that's the religion we're supposed to be a restored religion of. Did you know that, Mormons? So, GoFundMe link, I'll try to remember to put it at the bottom. I'm not very good at remembering because it takes so long to upload to the movie maker and then to save it and then to upload it on YouTube. Otherwise, call for help is the video, if I forget.